Good afternoon, it's Shed from Shed All Over the Page. And if you kind of wonder where I get the all over the page, it's because I'm planning to kind of go all over the page with the videos I make. They won't be any single topic type thing, be all over the page. Currently, my videos are kind of geared into some issues I'm having with the fire department I retired from, and some, a little bit of farm stuff here and there. But right now, I've talked about the fact that I volunteer for a local fire department in our area. It's called Springdale. I'm in the Howard's Quarter community, and I just wanted to, today, we're expecting some not so nice weather to come in. So let's see what we got going outside. Camera's kind of tough to pick it up, but it's snowing here. And the bigger issue with the snow is that it's supposed to kind of turn into ice. And this is hilly areas. It's East Tennessee, kind of mountainous. No, it is mountainous. So what I'm doing today is, this is basically the old girl that I drive, and I'm fixing to put some chains on her so I don't slip and slide. But I kind of want to just show, this is kind of the real life for volunteers. If you notice my gear in here, I keep it in a chair because it has a tendency to keep the mice out of it. The mice got into my leather Sam Houston helmet for the fire guys, ate the liner out of it. So I'm out about $180 in liner, which I did find the liner for it. So I keep my stuff in a chair, keep my coat hanging on the side. The repairs I made to the truck for the leak, it's fantastic. It's not leaking any. You can tell by the floor right here, because otherwise something's tinking and popping, but the floor would be full of water. So this is a 1983 Spartan, and the pump and body were installed by Continental. So it's a Spartan Continental. So the way I start the old girl, because right now she's probably got no air. She actually has a little left in one cylinder. Let's see, we might have to put a light on the subject. Yeah, that's better. I've turned the batteries on, that's the first thing. We used to call these things like a Bostic switch or a Boston switch. So turn the batteries on first. Climb up into the cab. She's gonna start making some noise. There's my start buttons. Turn the ignition on. Fired up. See if we got any mice building nests. You want to see what wiring a fire truck looks like? That's it. A lot of wires. But they like to build a nest right here. Like this right here looks like the start of one. Sad part is I got to put chains on it, and the carbon monoxide is going to build up in here while I'm running this Joule. That's my two air gauges, like primary and secondary. Fuel. Nothing fancy. I mean, this truck's sold, it's got lap belts. That's all. So this so I can do some other things. So there's a couple different ways I can put the chains on this truck. The problem is we've got this antique rig in here that's occupying space. So it makes doing a lot of things in here kind of a pain in the butt, to be honest with you. So I can either lay the chains out and drive on them and then wrap them across. And that, I've not done it that way on this truck. Usually I put a board in here and pull up on the board so that it lifts the outer tire, and then I just put a chain on that. That's the way I like to do it. It's easiest for me to do it that way, but I got to get the chains and stuff laid out first. I'm hoping I'm looking at this camera right. Okay, how you lay out these chains or even get started is important. Now these have like a little cam lock on them. It goes on one tire. But these right here have a little cam in them that you'll lock over. But the tire needs to sit on top of this. See this hook? Where the hook is bit down, that needs to be away from the tire, not towards it. So that goes away from the tire. So you need to lay your chain out correctly to start with. And then what I'm going to do in this case, and you can see how I've got the truck lifted up. Sometimes I can use one ramp, but she's heavy. So I've got 2 ramps under it, and it picks up the outer tire, which is I'm going to be working with. And I'm going to actually show it from the, well, I guess I could show it from this side. So I've got to drape this over the tire so that I can connect it. And I'll get that set up here in a second. So the way it's laid out, I've got to grab this end and walk it down and put it on. And I want it maybe 3/4 of the way, so that when I'm able to pull it, I'm able to pull it past the front of the tire and work on it in this area. So you want this kind of just hanging in the air. Somewhat like that. You don't want to be working under the tire. That's the trick. You want to be working like right up in here. And chains are a lot like rope. If they can hook into each other where you don't want them to, they will. Down. So I get the pull working. pause for a second. First time I hooked these up, these chains are not designed for these tires. They're a little too big. So they had a good bit of play in them. And it was like minus 11 degrees, so it was pretty cold. So I had wired everything like little safety wires, more or less, to keep anything from coming loose. And when you're driving and the mist is coming up from the road and stuff, it's kind of hard to tell what's going on. But it got loose and kind of just beat the snot out of the old girl. So what I ended up doing, a couple little clevises, and that keeps it from dorking up. Let's see if we can set you up so you guys can see what I'm doing under here. I had to pull this thing out. That's the wheel chock. Okay, this is the part where you can kind of tell the chains are too big, because normally the chains would catch somewhere in this section. But instead, they kind of catch, I can go to there. I can't remember if I go to there or there. But and again, when you put it in, you want that hook right there, that hook outside, not towards the tire, because you're trying to take care of your tires at the same time. Okay, so I've got the hook in this one, and I've got it one above on the other side. I'm probably going to flip that because I know it's two. So instead of there, we're going to catch this one on this one. Let's catch that one. Okay. And I guess if you'd say I went higher over here. And see, I don't like where that. That's okay. So I went higher over here. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. So I'm putting the clevis it's kind of hard to do with gloves on. I'm going to get this one. And yes, this is a big pain in the, you got it. And so they used to wire these things in there. Got a piece left in there. I just snug them down finger tight. If I run a bunch of calls, I get in here and check them. And the cams, make sure they're all the way open when you're putting it together. That's got it locked in. It won't come out. Cam tool goes in here, and you spin that around, and what happens, it just takes slack up. So I'm going to do it where the hard ones are to reach first, and I'll save this one for last. That's easier to reach. Goes there. That one goes in there. Y'all are gonna get punch drunk watching that camera. Because I'm having to work next to this antique rig, which is just taking up space. Slightly annoying. So. That's in there. It'd be interesting to see if I can get this one. I don't think so. I've done this before and they end up having to adjust my linkages. I think that's what I'll end up having to do. So what I do in this case, turn this light off, it's in my eyes. So what do I do in this case? I can't get that cam to go. It's pretty tight. And I'd rather use the cam locked so I can back where I've got the cables rigged up, I can back those off one link and should be able to do the cams. So no need for you to watch that. So. Okay. Count out tight with it last time. All right, so again, these pieces right here, you want where it's crimped around away from the tire. You want the cams on the outside and open when you're doing this. up about right. There. Somewhere in there. Kind of like that. That way you got something to work with, but it's not so high up you can't. This is tight on this side. Kind of like Bruce Willis. Come out to Tazewell, put chains on a fire truck, have a good time. Jeez. If you guys got the right light. Okay. Now, if this is the same as the other side, we're going to catch this one right here on both sides. And that seemed to work out pretty good. As far as being able to use the cam locks correctly. Every one of these had a piece of wire that I've had to remove. So like I said, I'm just putting these things on finger tight. And half the time I still have to bring pliers up here or something to break it loose. Somebody might edit that out. Do not have the time. Task completed. Last step, some bungee cords to kind of hold some tension on it. I've got to do some sort of mental reminder. This side over here is a pain. Those two blocks won't lift. It's weird. The two blocks won't lift it high enough on this side for the chain to go under. So I found a piece of plywood laying around here, a chunk of one, and put it under, and it got it high enough to get it in. It also connects different. And I imagine as these chains are manufactured, it's to a certain length and they just cut them. And where the cross chain comes in, this one right here, it ends up being in an odd spot on this one. So, like I said, part of it is these chains were not designed for this truck, or that tire size. But the old saying, beggars can't be choosy. So I do have a set on here. This truck actually has own spots on it. They don't work, switch is missing, so I don't know if something's gone bad, but it's one of those things I have not had time to investigate that part yet. But I do feel much better that I do have chains on here, because I do not like driving around these hilly roads without chains. And what they're predicting is really cold weather. We're not going to get above freezing for several days. So that'll be interesting for running calls. Last year I was on a car fire that if I had not had chains on, I'd have never got out of their driveway, because most of the driveways around here are gravel or dirt. And to get close enough to the car, you had to pull down in there. And with the axle interlocking gauge, so all the tires were spinning in the back, or if it's limited slip, whatever side's spinning, but with the chains on, that's what got me out of there. So I'm gonna take the beast off the stand. I don't know if we can, maybe we'll just let the processor go. Put the batteries off. Put the coat back up so the mice don't get in it. And just pick up my boards. So, kind of how you put chains on. This side over here went smooth, the other side did not. It's the difference in how the chains are just laid out. And again, like I said, the chains for this truck are designed for a truck that's got actually bigger tires. So to give you an example, I'll kind of point this out for you. These front tires here are 20 years old. They tell me it's a two-piece rim. I used to call them split rims. I call it two-piece rim. They don't make that tire anymore. They just don't. So to be able to get a new tire, I've got to replace the rim and the hub, both. All 8 tires in the rear, they're in pretty bad shape too. So it's a good bit of money, but I'm running a lot of calls. But the issue is this is an old truck. My concern is like the radiator's in pretty bad shape. Still cooling right now. It's in pretty bad shape. So trying to get all my stuff that I walked around here and left. But chains are finished on both sides. This is the heater that's in the station. Like I said, no bathrooms. But I need to put my, where's that at? Key. I need to put my key in here so that in case something comes loose on me going down the road, I've got it. We'll just stick it in the seat. When I worked at a paid department, putting on chains was always kind of I always thought it was kind of fun because we were out there cutting up and getting along. Our headquarters station had tile floor, so we had to put plywood down to keep the chains from eating the tile to pieces. Substations all had concrete, so they just put them on and off. But it was always a good time. That's the downside of doing what I'm doing here. There's no interaction. I'm up here by myself. Volunteer life has become a lonely life for a lot of guys. So that's kind of a little bit of a gripe there at the end, but just the way it is. So appreciate you riding along on the chain change out. Stay safe. Off the page.